Hello, sacred souls. It's Susanna from Alamanic Shaman. What I have here for us tonight is part 2 of healing from addictions and banishing the dark spirit entity or demonic energies, however you want to look at it, of addictions and having protection from the divine. So I have a whole setup here for tonight, and I'm going to explain it step by step. There's a whole bunch of stuff, a whole different bit of aspects, or a whole bunch of aspects. So the first one was actually something ancient that came to me today. I saw the image of a skull with 2 palm tree leaves, you know, those large ones, where the skull was being fanned, basically, just like a slave would have fanned a slave master, an emperor or a pharaoh or any of those ancient rulers. And I felt like there was a connection to like Aztec times. It doesn't have to be the case for everyone in the situation, but what I was getting very strongly was those dark, evil ones that took over Earth and acted as false deities. So they were dark creatures, entities, beings that posed as gods in early human days, and they were basically the false light, right? So they ruled through fear and control, and that is kind of like the origin of what often led to addictions, because there was a lot of force, a lot of control, a lot of power at play, and they enjoyed having especially those slaves and those at the bottom suffer a lot because they were energetically feeding off of them, right? So that is what was continued throughout the millennia, that suffering. And a lot of people, when they get into addictions, want to escape their reality, but like this is kind of like the core, the root of how all of that started. So that shall be banished with the black candle. And you can see how I created cords between. So this is the person suffering from addictions, or yeah, suffering and having addictions. Let me phrase it that way. So I put the cord around the neck and the mid area, which is like where our center of power is, right? And our speech is up here. So this cord actually represents the siphoning, and that goes to the bottle. I actually ended up finding this today, which was another sign that I had to include another bottle in the ceremony, and there's still a little bit of alcohol left in it. Whoops, hold on. And see, we're not super stable. This just wobbled a bit. So the bottle representing addictions. I'm adding the little shot glass that's a skull to represent the dark, evil aspect of addictions. Then what I have set up here, let me move these for a moment. So this is icing sugar, and I have to admit, like, I've never done any of these hardcore drugs. So here, this is representing more like injections, and this is representing, or this represents snorting. But this is a points card from the drugstore, which also ironically, it's like you buy medicine at a drugstore. Really? Like drugs? I always thought this was a very ironic name. Anyway, so from the drugstore, I got a rewards card, like a points card that said, "Be well." And if you look closely, it says, letsbewell.ca. Well done, wellness rewarded. So I thought this was actually very perfect and symbolic for when successfully quitting, stopping, and no longer continuing to with those addictions. It's first of all well done, and then you or those of us who suffer from addictions can be well, right? So this is kind of what's energetically required to get well, right? That disconnection to that toxic root that caused a lot of the addictions. And that's the abuse that was passed down from generation to generation that started in those ancient times. And what I also found today was, hold on, let me show you. It's one of those, actually last night, sorry. It's one of those rubber washers, but a really big one. And the moment I saw it, I knew that's for breaking the cycle. So I'll cut that. And after I had tied all of this together, I put the twine aside and I realized this looks like one of those snakes that come out of the basket when a snake charmer plays the flute. So I'll actually cut that one as well. And I gotta have a little bit of fun. I want to flip off the dark spirit of addictions. I'm sorry, I gotta have a little bit of fun here in all of this. Oh, and sorry, I didn't finish explaining. So I have another bamboo straw that represents the snorting part. But then these two chopsticks, I actually put in an X to symbolize no more, right? Like finishing, done. It's X and gone, done, finished, right? So that's what this represents. And I may or may not be guided to actually stab the dark entity or dark spirit of addictions. And then here, I've used that in a past ceremony. Inside a globe of protection, I have a little figurine representing us. And the globe, I also put cellophane around it for like extra protection. So this shall represent our divine protection. It shall be the 12D shield with golden light and the seal of divine protection all around it, represented by this cellophane. That's like the extra protection. And I was also shown, hold on, let me separate this. I was also shown a horseshoe yesterday or today, can't remember. But also like having luck on our side, having the fortune of the universe, of the divine on our side, and helping all those of us who are suffering from addictions have all the support, help, good luck and fortune on their side to successfully stop those addictions. I think that's everything here. I think I've explained everything beforehand. Okay. This is the white candle that I was burning, because sometimes in between ceremonies when I run out of a candle, I always keep a candle burning to always have that light, to symbolize it. The only thing that looks a little dark is when I actually poured it in here to stabilize the black handle in here. So that's a little bit from the soot, but that's okay. That's nothing really. It's like so tiny and minute, it's not important. All right, I think that's it. So let's smudge and get started. Oops. One more. Okay, perfect. Okay. Please cleanse and renew all of our energies and take away anything dark, evil, and low vibrational, and flood us with massive amounts of healing light, unconditional love, blessings, and protections from the divine. And let this ceremony that is about to begin be completely cleansed, shielded, and protected. Oh. Okay. All right, dear Creator, higher power, source, and soul energy, our higher selves, our spirit guides of the light, dear Mother Earth, our ancestors that are in the light, Great Spirit of the fire, as well as the other three elements, air, earth, and water. Please join the ceremony and assist the healings, prayers, banishings, and protections with all of your powers. Thank you. Please close the circle of protection around us. Thank you. All right, we ask for an extra strong healing to successfully stop and banish any and all addictions out of our lives now and forever, and heal from any and all sources and root causes that have led to those addictions. Oh, what just popped into my head too is how, like in ancient times, the slaves had no rights, no voice, no power, no personal power. So that's that damage that was passed down. And when we feel we're not in power, when we feel completely victimized and have no voice, when what we say and feel doesn't, and think, if we verbalize it, otherwise they won't necessarily know, but when what we say and feel doesn't count at all, it gets dismissed, devalued, we get put down, then a lot of times we want to find an escape from that very unpleasant reality. And that's what we need to heal from. And for that, we need to heal the inner child and learn to love and accept ourselves for who we are, because we're all divine. We all are. And we forget that because the way society is structured and set up is to make us overly critical of ourselves, constantly compare ourselves to others, but we're all unique and different, and that's all beautiful and more than okay. We're exactly as we're supposed to be. So we have to stop listening to that societal programming and brainwashing and look at all the beautiful aspects of ourselves. We're a good person, we're kind, we're respectful. We have done many things that maybe other people wouldn't even have survived. They would have broken, their spirit would have broken, but we have been through that and we survived and we just keep going. So that needs to be celebrated. All right, so in that spirit, let me grab the scissors and let all those of us struggling with any and all forms of addictions now and forever be disconnected from the dark spirit, the evil demon, and the devil of addictions. Let any and all cords, bonds, shackles, chains, leashes, portals, gateways. I'm going to include that in here because I actually forgot. Sorry. Portals, gateways, vows, soul contracts, and any and all other karmic and otherwise connections between us and the root cause of addictions, as well as the dark evil spirit and demon of addictions. Let all of those connections now and forever be cut, severed, and finished throughout all of time and space, throughout all lifetimes, timelines, parallel and alternate realms, realities, multi and universes, and any and all other aspects that affect us in this lifetime and moving forward. And that shall be applied to body, mind, spirit, soul, and energy field, and in any and all aspects that affect us in this lifetime and moving forward. And so it is. Thank you, Dankeschön, all my relations, and any and all siphonings that are done by dark attachments shall now and forever be fully and completely disconnected from all those of us who have struggled with addictions. And we shall all be, I gotta cut that again, 1 second. We shall all be fully and completely freed from those dark evil siphonings that those dark overlords benefited from, those reptilian overlords and possibly others that were energetically feeding off of our suffering. All of that shall now and forever be fully and completely removed from our energy fields and cast into the fire and banished. And all of those dark energies, entities, powers, forces, spirits, and beings of the dark shall now and forever be cast back to hell to burn in the fires of hell for all eternity, or until ready, able, and willing to move into the light for healing, and then they shall be bound, neutralized, and sealed in there for the rest of eternity. And so it is. Thank you, Dankeschön, all my relations. Ooh. And we're telling those dark evil ones to F off and leave us alone. Stay away. Stay away. F off and stay away. We're saying no to any and all forms of addictions. They and their power shall fall, represented by the bottle I just put down. And they shall be gone, represented by putting the lid on that. So that shall be fully gone from our lives, removed, buried, gone, fed to the fire, and fully transmuted and gone. All those vicious cycles that have to do with addictions shall now and forever be cut, severed, and finished. And we are free. Let's breathe in all the pure divine love light energy, the Christ consciousness, vibration, and the consciousness. And breathe out any and all residue from the dark in connection with these addictions. Every atom of our body, mind, spirit, soul, and energy field shall now and forever be purified, cleansed, and renewed. And all that dark stuff shall be excreted from our system. Our bodies shall undergo a purging process that may actually take a few days, depending on the severity of what's going on with you. Could take anywhere from 1 day to several days to, I'm hearing like 1 week could be, if it's like very severe. Now, in my experience, that usually comes out as a number 2, but it could be excreted from the body in different ways. So, just remember when stuff starts coming out of your body in whatever form, to just let it come out. And remember that it's all the bad stuff that's coming out. Whew. Oh, yeah, okay. And what just came to me too is I don't actually need to stop any dark entity now because they're already gone. But these dark ones are going to try to come back and reconnect for a while. That could be anywhere from like days to weeks to months. And I would recommend sleeping with crystals. And as I mentioned in I think 1 or 2 of the previous videos at some point. Not like recent, but like one was fairly recent and one was quite a while ago. I had a dark entity attack me just in that stage between still being awake and being fully asleep, sort of that half stage. And it came at me really fast and sat on my chest before I even knew. And I went to bed with this crystal fluoride wand in my hand. And it happened so fast that I just flipped it around without thinking. It was just my instinct kicking in because my soul already knew what to do. And I just stabbed inwards. And that's all I had to do. Nothing else. Didn't have to say anything. Didn't have to think anything. That's it. It was done. So if you want to get one of those, I would recommend, again, based on the intensity of the dark entities, energies, beings that you were dealing with, I would keep that with me. I actually have a small version of that as a pendant around my neck, so I always have it with me. Hold on 1 second. Let me just take that off for a moment. Let me put on my glasses. One moment. So this is like a rainbow fluoride bullet pendant. I got it on Amazon, so I actually got both of these on Amazon. And I was in a situation once when I was driving and I had a dark entity around me, and I ended up just taking this off my neck and stabbing it with that. So I would highly recommend that. And otherwise you can get a black stone. I'm trying to remember if it was an onyx or no, it was a shungite that I was wearing for a long time. A shungite disc that I was wearing actually over my solar plexus. And I was once attacked. It was actually a dream invasion, and that dark one posed as a security guard and demanded to know 3 times what kind of a stone I was wearing under my